I'm Adrienne Hines. I've spent 20 years fighting the insurance companies, corporations, and the legal system.
And I'm Kristen Paris. I'm navigating divorce, digital business, and life on the farm without a map.
Here, we are stripping away the polite conversation. We're talking about the money,
The mess.
and the legal traps trying to ruin your life.
Welcome to Season 3 of High Heels and Hay Bales.
We do talk a lot about the law and finances on this show. And Kristen, we also really dive down on the authenticity. I think that's something that we bring to our audience. As we say, oftentimes we all have flaws and blind spots. And today we're going to be honest about some more of them so you can either learn to love yourself in spite of your flaws or figure out how the hell to navigate safely around them. That's what we're doing today. So today we are talking about death by $9.99, right? So death by $9.99. We are not going broke buying lattes at Starbucks. We are bleeding from digital paper cuts and there is no stop here. It's the $9.99 charges we ignore because we are too overwhelmed to figure out how to stop them, and it just comes at us like a rainstorm and the worst day of your life. Right?
Exactly. Let's say you have a fitness app for $9.99, forgotten streaming service for $14.99, and an iCloud upgrade $2.99 a month. That's $336 a year. And now that I've said that out loud, I realize I probably am wasting about $800 a year. It's a week of groceries. Is $336 a week of groceries. And over 5 years, this is disgusting. An average person is losing $2,500 to $3,000 on apps they don't even have in their home. And I can tell you, I know for a fact that I've got like 7 of these babies that I need to go find.
I wish I only had 7, Kristen. Honest to God, this is a hard one for me too because I have a lot of them. I mean, I am a lawyer. I read contracts. You should know. I am currently paying for Hulu. I don't know who I'm paying or how I'm even paying it. I don't know where I'm getting billed. I am literally stealing my son's girlfriend's password to watch her Hulu because my own account is lost in the matrix. I see it coming out somewhere and I'm still struggling. How is that even possible? How can I be sitting here and not even know how the hell I'm paying for this thing or where it's coming? I've got different credit cards. I've got different, a joint account. I've got a personal account. I've got the kids have accounts. I'm not sure if it's coming through with one of the kids' things or is it a credit card? Is it through Amazon? Is it through Prime? Like, I don't even know where these things are.
Adrienne, let me tell you, you're stuck in what's called the third party billing trap. You gave your card to Apple, Amazon, or Roku, or the streaming service themselves years ago. And then they hide the charge on your bank statement like a generic, charge TV streaming service, apple.com/bill. And then you try to log into your Hulu and they tell you to go to Apple. And when you go to Apple, it's buried in the menu. And then it's you need a PhD to figure out how to get to just cancel, and it's designed to make you give up so you don't stop paying for this service that you don't even use. And
Kristen, last week, in the year of our Lord 2026, my husband had to drive me to Planet Fitness. And he had to pull up to the front door and basically kick me out, make me go in and cancel my subscription. Now, understand, I've had a Planet Fitness subscription since 2019. It's how I ended up started running. I lost 100 pounds. There was a point in time, but that's when I was working, right? Like in an office, and I would go at lunchtime to the gym and I'd run and I'd shower and I'd get back to my desk and I'd be back there by 1:30, and it was a routine that I did. But then, COVID came along. I started running outside. I pretty much stopped running inside a gym. And as Lord is my witness, Kristen, in the last 2 years, in the last 24 months, if I'd been to a Planet Fitness 3 times, I'd be surprised. And I was paying $24.99 a month, every month, all these years. And they make it so that you have to go in there. That's one of the problems. They make it so hard to cancel. It's just like having a Hulu charge lost on someplace. It's just as difficult, and I'm just so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
It's not just the digital apps, it's Planet Fitnesses, it's the physical boxes that show up your door. It is more than just digital, it's just the way they hide the charges.
Let me tell you about the boxes that show up, right? Oh, girl, I am drowning in Il Makiage foundation because it's a company that, years ago, I do love the foundation. And of course, I need it on a regular basis. And they conned me into an auto ship every 3 months or something. I don't know how to stop it. And I am like 3 bottles ahead. Like, I got one for my suitcase. Like, these are expensive bottles too. Like, I don't need to have 3 extra laying around. So many things. There's so many things. I've spent hundreds of dollars just allowing inventory to take up place in my bathroom, inventory that I'll never be able to use. But you know what? That not only is it like a hoarding mentality, a bit of a scarcity mentality. You're afraid you're never going to be able to find it again. You're afraid you don't know where it's at. Let me just sign up for this. Of course, I'll use it every 3 months. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh my god, the boxes, it's a consumption mismatch, and that's really what happens. Nobody is on the exact consumption except unless it's like a vitamin, right? You get a bottle with 30 in it, you take 1 every day, you need 1 a month, but very, very little really matches the consumption rate in which we are using things, and that's where we're getting screwed over by our own selves as well.
Absolutely. When I had, my last baby, the 4-year-old, I had signed up for auto ship baby wipes and diapers. And so because I was a new mom again, essentially, I had 2 little ones. I couldn't remember when I ordered what. And then it would show up. I would go through it super fast and have to order it again. And then the auto ship would kick in. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm spending an extra $75 on stuff I don't need, and it was all in order to make things easier, and it didn't. It cost me more money even though I was saving a buck 50 on the auto ship, and it didn't
Yeah,
make any sense.
yeah.
Luckily, that one was easy to cancel, but I have so many that I couldn't cancel, and, you know, w all of these apps we keep paying for, it's we're paying for our fantasy self.
We are so paying for our fantasy selves. It's one thing to have a Hulu subscription you cannot find. It is one thing to have paid $1.97 to Roku 10 years ago for the Hallmark channel, and you can't figure out how to stop it, but you're still getting that $1.97 charge every single month for the rest of your life. That's me. But I am the queen of aspirational subscriptions as well. I accidentally paid for 2 years of masterclass. Almost $400 because my fantasy self was gonna pour wine on Sundays, and I was gonna learn to negotiate from Chris Voss. Do you know how many classes I've actually watched from beginning to end? Zero, zero, Kristen. I've watched 0 of them. I haven't watched any masterclass. I had originally got it as a gift for a family member, and then I got a subscription for free for myself, which is what I thought was a great deal. I don't think my family ever used it. And not only did I not use it, it auto renewed the next year, and I had to pay a whole nother $200. That is what I'm talking about. I paid $400 for the idea of being an intellectual, and I've actually gotten nothing from it. To think that some people would waste $2,500 to $3,000 over a 5-year period of time, I'm wondering how much I am wasting in just 1 year's time. It's gotta be thousands of dollars. It has to be $5,000 a year for me. And that's embarrassingly terrible. That's $500 a month I'm probably pissing away and not paying attention to. I need to buckle down and figure out what's going on. That's what this episode is telling me.
Listen, I promise you, you aren't the only ones who have done the big subscriptions either. Early this year, again, after the divorce, my ex-husband is a gamer. I bought PlayStation 5 for Christmas, and you have to pay the yearly subscription. I totally forgot about it. And one morning I woke up and my bank account was in the negative $170 because the $179.99 yearly subscription to PlayStation went through. And I was like, what the hell? And you can't get a refund. You can't cancel it. It is paid for. It is done. Now I have a useless freaking subscription to a thing I don't even own anymore. And I was able to cancel it so it won't auto renew. But that's the same with Amazon or monthly subscriptions to Instacart, DoorDash, Walmart Plus, all of those things. Everything becoming subscription based is nickeling and diming us.
They are definitely nickeling and diming us. I will say that we a couple of things that we're talking about here is we're talking about a concept called ghost subscription. If anybody is wondering if you want to like start doing some research on this, the concept that we're talking about is called ghost subscriptions. And I will say that in the tech industry, it's called a dark pattern. You have to physically go to the place where you signed up in order to cancel. I will say the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, had finally stepped in with a rule that's called click to cancel. And that means that if the company allows you to sign up online in 3 seconds, they must let you cancel online just as easily. But I have to tell you that there's really no meat to this. There's no legal system that's really keeping an eye on this. And what happens if you can't? You're trying to file a lawsuit. Are you really going to be able to file a lawsuit? The reality is that in order to assert your rights, it's so expensive and time consuming that we don't. We don't. And that's really what we're seeing.
Amazon just had a huge class action lawsuit about this. They had hidden in their checkout thing, buy now or add to cart, whatever, checkout for people that did not have Amazon Prime. That if they wanted Prime, they could do it, but it automatically enrolled them in a Prime subscription. And it didn't get billed the same way as a normal Amazon Prime subscription. It would become the monthly subscriber fee. And there was a huge Amazon Prime class action lawsuit that just settled that said they couldn't do that anymore. And that's why they actually had to change their checkout screen and the way you sign up for Prime because they got nailed for tricking people into signing up for a service they didn't want. People are fighting back on this because those ghost subscriptions are really catching up to people. I mean, I can tell you right now, as we were prepping for this episode, I was like, "Oh my god, look at all these emails I have telling me I have a new subscription renewal." And I thought I canceled that. I forgot I'd had that. I pay for Canva. I use it for making flyers for the farmers market or sometimes for TikTok, sometimes for whatever I'm doing. I might have logged into Canva 4 times in the last 6 months, and I pay $15 a month for it. I mean, it's not worth it. Those add up. I have subscriptions on my TV. I have no idea. I was paying for my ex-husband's Netflix account, and I didn't realize it until I went to log into the Netflix, and I was like, "Oh, crap, this is his, not mine. I don't even have one." So, you don't think about that in a divorce, like, who's gonna get the Netflix account and who's gonna get the bill for it? Like, that sucked a lot. But it's they make it so tricky for you to cancel it, and it's really a rough world out there for these ghost subscriptions. We're getting nailed, and we don't even realize it.
I hear you that we're fighting back, but I want to just say, as a lawyer too, that class action suits are nice because they can effectuate change. But number one, they take a tremendous amount of time, and number two, the consumer almost never gets anything back. right? And that's important to understand. The people who get paid in a class action suit are lawyers because they are taking a bajillion clients and they're doing all of the work to push it, you know. And so you get $1 million, $10 million, but you have 10 million, you know, people in the
Mhm.
suit. Everybody gets $1, right? It's the
Right.
lawyers who end up getting money, and it does take a really long time. It shouldn't take class action lawsuits to be able to cancel a goddamn Hulu subscription, right? Like that's part of the problem. But, I also want to pivot and say that sometimes it's not about laziness or a tricky interference. And sometimes it is, what's going on with us. Let's talk about Ipsy. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ipsy before. Ipsy is a little makeup thing. They send you little makeup testers every month, packaged in a cute little something something. You're basically paying a subscription service to give you little samples of stuff every
Mhm.
month. Well, my daughter had signed up for that. And my daughter used to get Ipsy packages every single month. And after she died, I'm still to this day getting billed for her $200 a year Ipsy makeup subscription. And every month, a box arrives with her name on it. The system is really difficult to cancel. I don't know what her password was. It was my credit card, but her password logging in, I can't prove who I am. I haven't had really the emotional energy to fight the labyrinth. So honestly, it just keeps coming and I just keep giving it to my secretaries every month. I'm like, here's the Ipsy. I just don't even know how to stop it. And it's not all the desperate grief of losing a child, but fatigue and exhaustion and marital problems and cranky kids. These things all make it harder and harder and harder for us to focus and to be able to double down and really be able to do what we need to do, right?
Right. And here the thing is we all have busy lives. We're all doing so many things, and it's whether it's a situation like yours with the Ipsy box, or you're just so busy and burnt out from regular freaking life, you put it on the back. I'm going to handle it later. And then you're $350 handling it later. And i- if you're not able to go through and cancel and do these things, you're not failing. Like, this is something we're all dealing with. Life is heavy. Just make a note to yourself, maybe one day when you're not feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, to check into it.
I so agree that people need permission to not hate themselves over this. This is the kind of stuff we talk about all of the time. Is again, these patterns, these behaviors on the part of Ipsy and Hulu and Masterclass, it is very, very well designed to catch us like this. It is their job to sell us product. We are capitalists, right? And so we have to understand that that is their job. And we also need to know that there are not a lot of protections around us. If we are mistaken and think that we've got a shield of armor that we're wearing as we pass through, the economic world in the United States, I think that's the problem. That's the fear that we have, is making sure that you understand that, yeah, we're going to let you get into really, really bad deals. You're going to have some responsibility to spot them, to get yourself out, because that's just the way that this world is now. And so understanding that it is easy to fall into ghost subscriptions. It's easy to turn your back and realize that you have a bajillion of them that you don't ever remember. It's really hard to start getting rid of them, but we have to not hate ourselves, right? Like,
Right.
there was a point in time when every time that Ipsy thing came, I was embarrassed and overwhelmed, and the grief would come back, and then I'd say, "I'm so stupid. Why am I doing this?" I don't, that's dumb. That's what we really want to talk about here, is that the reason we're doing an episode on ghost subscriptions is because it's a thing. It's a problem. American economy is going to manipulate us and separate us from our dollar bills. That's the goal here. It's always the goal.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people have asked, there's different, like, there's apps to download that will actually go through your finances and find these ghost subscriptions, right? And, there's what, like Rocket Money and Truebill, and you can go get those and then they can cancel. It's like, I've never really used them. I probably maybe I don't know. I haven't even looked into it. But you can hit a button and cancel it all. So the
Well, well,
problem
well,
is
well, well, well,
yeah.
let me give you a warning here because that is something I think a lot of people think, "Oh, we just maybe download this other app over here and it's going to go take care of all of us." But understand that we're now paying a new app and a new subscription to cancel other subscriptions, right? And here's the issue because you're giving a third-party tech company unrestricted login access to read your own bank data. And so you're paying somebody else for the privilege of being able to have access to your bank account and so that they'll go and cancel a $9 app. And that's what it's so easy to say, well, let's just go get an app and take care of this. But then we're doubling down on the problem, right? It's just like being in debt and then go borrowing more money, right? That doesn't make sense, but that's what everybody does. So here we are, we've got these apps, we want to go download one, but that's literally the problem that we've got. So we have to be a little bit more careful about this. So there's a couple of different things that you can do.
Well, I was just going to say that not only seems counterintuitive to pay for an app to get rid of apps, but if you're giving a company unrestricted access to your banking information, it feels like it could be a little problematic. I mean, I'm just saying here, there's enough trouble in the tech world with data breaches and fraud and bank theft and everything that you're saving $14 a month on two apps being canceled is going to suck in 3 months when your bank account is hacked and you lose your next three paychecks. That's some sketchy stuff, and that's why I know I never did it because I was too afraid.
That is really important, because when you are looking at these third-party apps, we do understand how unstable the world is. We're fully aware of how dangerous and how predatory the internet is. Let's even assume Rocket Money is, above board. I have no reason to assume that they're not, that they have authenticated logins and all that kind of stuff. But what if you're looking and you get to something that looks like Rocket Money, but it's not quite Rocket Money? It's Rocket Cash. And people think, oh, that's Rocket Money? And that's how a lot of these things piggyback. I want to be clear that there's lots of really good apps and things out there that can help you if you're disciplined and those types of things. But you have to be aware that the problem also oftentimes can beget itself and become even more problematic. And so I'm not suggesting that those are necessarily the solution, because they do tend to bring up bigger issues than they solve. Um, so, one thing that you can do, because I did go do the research on this, I wrote all of this down, okay, so that I can walk people through a little bit of a solution to a couple of ways to deal with this. First, I do know about this, and this is what I did a couple of months ago. If you're an Apple user, you go into your settings, the very, very top up at Apple ID, you tap on your name, and then you follow it through and tap on subscriptions. And you can see every subscription that you have and when it renews. Like if you have one that's 69.99 for a whole year, right? You'll be able to see that it's up. It's due like April 7th is when it would renew, and you tap on it and that's how do not renew. And so I went through and did that. That's the one thing that I have done so far. So that's where you do it with an iPhone. Number two, Amazon Prime. You would go to your accounts and lists, and then you go over to memberships and subscriptions, and you go there and you go through all of that's where you're gonna find your if you have Amazon and you get your Paramount Plus through there, like we do, that's where you're gonna go through and find those lists and those subscriptions. The third thing you can wanna do is maybe go into Roku, My Roku, and manage subscriptions. I clearly need to go over there and see if I can find that Hallmark channel. And it wasn't even like the full Hallmark channel, it was the Hallmark channel, like old movies.
Mhm.
And I'm past Hallmark Channel now anyway. The world has gotten too dark to even accept Hallmark as a realistic, way to stick your head in the sand. I don't even do it anymore, so I need more serious stuff. So, Apple ID settings, tap your name, tap on subscriptions, and check out where you can cancel. To Amazon Prime, you go to your accounts and lists, memberships and subscriptions. Number 3, with Roku, you go my.roku.com, go over to manage subscriptions. And the nuclear option is, if you're completely overwhelmed, report your credit card's lost. Let the auto pays just fail out. Only type your new number into the ones you actually miss. Like then you start to realize what's out there, right? That is literally something I may have to do with my own personal debit card because I think that's where the IPSI is at.
It could be. Now, here's the thing. If you obviously we both are Apple users, so I have no idea how it works with, like, Android or whatever. I know there's a Google Play that
Yeah.
has, like, the same kinda setup as, like, the Apple ID. Microsoft, I was just freaking looking at that because 'cause I'm pretty sure I've got something coming through Microsoft, but I don't remember my Hotmail password, so that's gonna be a fun one. What was the other one? I know all the different TV streaming or smart TVs that are not just Roku. That's what's screwing us all. We have to go
Yes.
hunt everything down. One thing I have done before is I set up a lot of things through PayPal because I'm lazy. And I'll go through my PayPal like recent history and I'll find them and I'll cancel them through PayPal. Or I've gone as far as going through my freaking bank statement to see what exactly is coming out. And then still have to go hunt it down. But that nuclear option of letting the debit card expire or report it as lost, that's possibly one of the best options to do because otherwise you're gonna be hunting for years. However, I have heard that some banks will still will still allow those charges to go through on a new debit card, like, because it's linked to the bank account, not just the debit card. Uh, it's so convoluted and so confusing, and it's just taking over. Everything is subscription based now.
Everything is subscription based. Everything is subscription based. I think it made me feel good researching and getting ready for this episode because I'm so appreciative of the fact that I'm not the only one that has this rogue Roku charge out there that I cannot find. I thought that I was really pretty much an idiot. I really felt embarrassed coming into this episode because I had so many ghost subscriptions and they're costing me a lot of money. I mean, this is real money. And if my husband were standing over my shoulder right now, he'd probably be furious to realize exactly how bad this is. But I want to be honest so that other people can say to themselves, yeah, I got that too. We have a problem here, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to step forward and do a little something about it to get ourselves out of here because we are leaving money on the table and we are entering into an economic era right now where we don't have money to leave on the table. We need to conserve our resources, all of us do. So really, I'm gonna urge people, make sure you're very careful about these apps and stuff, but this is something we gotta buckle down on.
Can I tell you? Can I confess something to you? Okay, so I think it was 2020, end of 20. I don't remember when it was. I bought a brand new pickup truck, and I was all excited about it being fancy, and it had heated seats and heated steering wheel and all that stuff. And then I found out that it had Wi-Fi. and I could buy Wi-Fi so that when I was driving with my kid, who was 6 at the time, 5, 6 at the time, she could have her tablet on, and I could listen to the radio, and she could be on her tablet, and I wouldn't have to listen to her whine about how long it was taking to get somewhere. I was paying $35 a month for Wi-Fi in my pickup truck, and I paid for that for a year and a half. I paid for it after I traded my truck in.
Oh my
After I
god, yeah.
traded it back in, I paid for the effing Wi-Fi for 2 additional months. And after realizing how much time I didn't actually spend in my truck, I realized how much money I was wasting. I was paying almost the same amount of money for my Wi-Fi in my pickup truck that I was paying for Wi-Fi in my home.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still kick myself in the ass for that one.
And let's be honest, if you had taken the iPad to a Verizon store, you could have added your child onto the Wi-Fi, added onto the cellular Wi-Fi for $9.99 a month, and you would have saved yourself probably $25 a month, and your kid still could have been able to access the iPad in the car, at a restaurant, at a friend's house. So, I mean, it's like this kind of stuff where we're like, "Oh my god, Wi-Fi in my car, yay!" And then we just forget about it. That's exactly how this happens. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well,
Or Sirius
again,
satellite radio.
oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. So satellite radio is my husband's job and responsibility. My here's the thing, I have bought my dad's car. The last 3 cars I've had, my dad owned them first. So I always buy his car after 2 years, and then he goes and gets something new. And we have this weird, like, and then we give a car to our son, so we don't know whose satellite is in whose, and every once in a while, we all have to sit down and figure out who's paying for what, and even the toll things end up in other people's cars, and I'm like, "Who's got my toll?" Like, this is the chaos that is our life. When you bring up Sirius XM, man, it brings up a whole new class of issues in our house.
I almost I knew about that a little bit, and that's why I brought it up because I had to. So, here's the thing. Everybody has some homework this week, okay? Your homework is to go on a ghost hunt. Check your Apple settings, cancel the apps, and then forgive yourself for paying the ADHD tax and the last 6 months of something you haven't used. Forgive yourself, forget it. It's water under the bridge, and just try to pay better attention next time, because I probably won't, and we'll be back in 6 months doing this again.
Again, the traps are out there. We know that they're there. It's if we don't start navigating safely around these traps, we're going to eventually own nothing and rent everything, and it's all going to be lousy too, right? It's all going to be poor quality. So, it's okay to have flaws. Just do not let corporate America charge you $9.99 a month for them, and things are gonna be a lot better. Don't sign anything until you read the fine print.
And watch where you step.
We hope you feel a little smarter and a little less alone than you did just 40 minutes ago.
If you learned something, leave us a review or share this with a friend who needs the truth.
Don't sign anything until you read the fine print.
And watch where you step. See you next week.